Oh shoot, I'm already live. I didn't realize that I was gonna. Oh jeez. Are we ready? Yeah. Live. Well, that was dumb. Hold on. Let's go back. Come on now. Sort your shit out, Aslan. Transition back to this. I accidentally pressed start stream when I wasn't ready to start the stream. Anyway, here I am. It's me. G'day. It's your boy Aslan, streaming live from the sunny Hawke's Bay. We had an earthquake earlier, 5.3 on the Richter scale. That was very exciting. And then it started pissing down with rain. Now it's just steadily streaming. Just like me. Anyway, back. I'm going to be doing some more dumb tweets. Because it's fun. I'm still appealing my suspension from Twitter. I've been steadily sending in appeals, trying to find. I don't. Well, first of all, I don't know if there's like a limit to how many times you can appeal. So I didn't send one today because I didn't want to like them to be like, oh yo, too many appealing. So I didn't send one today. But up until this point, I've been going, oh hey, so I got my account permanently suspended because I sent out a meme that had the words "shut the fuck up, turf" in it, and the reason, and so I explained my reasons. I was like, I believe that in this climate of transphobia and violence towards trans people, I think that it's important to push back against people who are, who perpetuate this kind of, violence and hatred and discrimination towards trans people. So I was exercising my right to free speech underneath Elon Musk's, free speech paradise. That is Twitter. And I think that, a permanent suspension is just a little bit extreme. So I'm asking you for you to reduce it just to a week, so I can delete the meme. I didn't get any warning, so it would be nice if I could go back to, if you could give me a chance to delete the meme and stuff like that. So I've been doing that reasonably regularly for the last couple of days, hoping that someone will restore my account. Hasn't happened yet, but hope still exists in my cold black socialist gay heart. But I'm just gonna leave it for a couple of days. So and then send in another appeal, and then maybe someone different will see it and be like, that seems reasonable. Um, so cross your fingers for me. Beside the point, I've hunted down a couple of dumb tweets that I could talk about, which I would normally tweet about, but can't because I've been cancelled. I've been silenced by the fascists at Twitter HQ. So, I'm going to do it here instead. Which why not? And they all are, they're all reasonably prominent people in this case. I've chosen a Charlie Kirk, I've chosen a Stephen Crowder, I've chosen a Ben Shapiro, and my good dear friend End Wokeness, who, if you didn't know, had blocked me on Twitter before my untimely suspension, which was endlessly funny to me. So yes, silenced by snowflakes. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and transfer us over to this and make sure this happens every time. There's something weird. I'm just going to get it like this, so you can still see my gorgeous face talking about the tweets that are over there. And I'm going to pop over to this here. So let's have a look at Mr. Ben Shapiro. No, I wanted to do Charlie Kirk first. Here we go. Okay, so this was kind of funny. I saw this on the Toilet Paper USA subreddit, which is a fantastic subreddit, where they make fun of Charlie Kirk mostly, but people associated with the Toilet Paper USA kind of sphere. And so I saw this one, but it was kind of couched in this tweet by Matt Binder, which I'll get to in a second. Matt Binder, big fan. Been on a show a couple of times actually, if I do say so myself. Pretty pretty cool. But anyway, oh, I just saw that Valid L's is trending. Oh my god, what does that mean? Are they trending because they fucking suck? Valid L's has been doxxed. Oh shit. Valid L's. Have they been doxxed? Doxing is terrible. One should never be done to anyone, not even the brainlet behind Valid L's account. You hate to see it. But when you hate to see it, but you actually love it. That's funny. Valid L's is a awful person. Anyway, beside the point. Back to Mr. Charlie Kirk. So, one of the things that the right wing have been, getting upset about. One of the things they like to get upset about is people going woke, I suppose. And by woke, they mean putting rainbows on stuff, or, saying that it's okay to be gay, or that trans people exist, or that women should have jobs, or, it's really hard to say. It's hard to define what woke is because they can't even do it themselves. Anyway, so here, Charlie Kirk, brands are bending over backwards to let customers opt out. You can't even write a fucking coherent sentence. Brands are bending over backwards to let customers to opt out of Mother's Day. Can we opt out of Pride Month spam too? So here he's thinking that brands are being woke because they're letting customers opt out of Mother's Day. I didn't actually read any of these. Let's have a look. We understand that this time can be difficult. If you prefer not to receive Mother's Day emails, you can opt out by simply clicking below. That seems perfectly reasonable. Hi there. Some Mother's Day is just around the corner. Before we start bombarding you with coffee burps. Mum-related content, we wanted to check in first. We know motherhood and all the associated feelings, emotions, and memories can be tricky and even triggering for some people. The last thing we want to do is hit you with a celebratory yay mum energy that doesn't match up with your vibe. So this year we're giving you the option to opt out of Mother's Day content by clicking here. Seems completely reasonable. Prefer not to hear about Mother's Day? Mother's Day is coming up. We understand this can be a difficult time of year for some. So if you simply click below, we will still keep you up to date on other Nespresso news. Okay, so we know that Mother's and Father's Day can be sensitive times for some. That's funny because under here, someone else said something about Father's Day. Anyway, doesn't matter. So they're kind of just being conscientious, sensitive that some people could, that difficult feelings could arise around Mother's Day. And as Matt Binder points out, the reason they do this is because some people's mothers are dead. This is not some LGBTQ thing for you people to be weird about, which is fantastic. Oh man, what a ratio. That's fantastic. Charlie Kirk getting the ratio to fucking shit. Got 6,000 likes on his tweet. Matt Binder, 45,000 likes. Oh yeah, here you go. So are they doing the same thing about Father's Day too? There's literally one of these pictures says you can opt out of Father's Day as well. Geez, some of these people just I'm begging the right wing to learn how to read. I swear to God, half of the things that happen, these people getting upset about stuff, is because they don't fucking read. Like I get linked like studies saying, oh, this is proving that trans people are bad or something, and then you read the article and it's like, that's not what the thing says. Learn to read. They've literally read the title of something, and then they get that. Yeah, that's another thing they do. They just read the title and get upset by that without reading the whole article. Please, if you're on the right, learn to read. Thanks. Anyway, so that's kind of funny. Charlie Kirk getting upset about something. Just getting upset that these brands are displaying some sort of human compassion. Because these freaks are emotionally devoid sociopaths who, don't like feelings. Feelings are good, actually. I like feelings. If you've got a feeling, it means you're still alive. Anyway, this is the Stephen Crowder. Moving on. Next thing, Stephen Crowder. This again, I found this on the toilet paper subreddit, the toilet paper USA subreddit, and it's kind of fantastic. So. Stephen Crowder here tweeting out, why has the nuclear family become the enemy? And so someone here says Marx called for the abolition of the family. Family provides success and support, crashes with what the big government wants because it gives society strength, and and when they have strength, they're harder to penetrate by the government. These fucking libertarian losers. Anyway, so why is the nuclear family becoming the enemy? So these people are upset. Stephen Crowder's obviously upset that 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 there has been an expanded definition of what the family can be, I suppose. That it's not just mum, dad, and kids. Mum who sits in the kitchen, cooks the food, while dad, goes and gets drunk with his friends on the executive board, then comes home and abuses the kids and sexually assaults his wife. It's not that anymore. What it is there could be two mums or two dads. That the father could be staying at home while the mother goes out and earns some money. All these different kind of conceptions of what family can be. Don't have to have kids. That's totally fine as well. We don't always need to follow this dictated fucking this is the path that we need to go down. But that's offensive to people like Stephen Crowder, who thinks that the nuclear family is the only way to go. Which is particularly funny considering the next tweet here, which is that Stephen Crowder drops the news on Rumble Video that he's going through a divorce. Basically accuses Candace Owens of extortion. So apparently he's still fighting with Candace Owens, which is hilarious in and of itself. But Stephen Crowder's nuclear family is being ripped apart. So apparently what happened, I read something somewhere, I really should have looked that up, but it doesn't matter too much. Someone said that Crowder, that his wife literally just woke up one day and was just like, I'm out, I'm done, I'm out of here. Which is hilarious. Because it's like, she's obviously been with this guy and just doesn't like, maybe I'm speculating here, but it seems like that when you define your whole identity around hatred towards everybody, which Stephen Crowder does, that's his whole thing, is just being a fucking hate-filled human being, just getting upset at anyone who's not a white, straight, cisgendered dude, and spreading hatred and misinformation and all that sort of stuff, just being constantly upset about everything, just like, that's going to bleed over into your family life. That's going to come back into the home, and, I can imagine that would be exhausting for someone's partner. And I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often. I feel like there was someone else Dennis Prager has been divorced 3 times. No, wait, sorry. Divorced twice, married 3 times. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens to other people, especially people like Matt Walsh or Ben Shapiro or, these guys, Charlie Kirk, who spend all their time, unless they've Matt Walsh's wife seems like an awful person as well. That being said, so unless they align themselves and find themselves someone who can share and relish in the hatred and whatnot that they embody, so they can live with that kind of nonsense. It seems like the hateful persona would be rather incongruous with a happy family dynamic. But anyway, so I think that's kind of funny. Crowder's opining the fact that the nuclear family is falling apart, and his nuclear family is falling apart. Oh man, I normally don't. I like people being happy. I do like people being happy. I enjoy when other people experience, happiness and passion, all that sort of stuff. But when you're such a hateful piece of shit as one of these motherfuckers, it's very, very enjoyable. It's Schadenfreude. Anyway, next on the list, Mr. Ben Shapiro. Boom. Let's see what Ben's up to today, Mr. Fucking, what do you call him? The genius of the what the hell do they call him? The intellectual giant of the. I always, whenever Sam Cedar comes up with this, what educational background does Owens have? She's got 0 notches in her educational bar. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure she's a dropout like the rest of them. pretty sure. I don't like none of these people. They're proud of the fact that they don't go to school, that they eschew any educational thing. They're proud of that. That they're just loudmouth idiots who base all their opinions on absolutely nothing. It's kind of telling. Yeah, no. What's his name? Sam Cedar always has trouble coming up with the thing that the New York Times dubbed Ben Shapiro, and I'm always like, oh, I know exactly what that is, but I've just it's completely gone from my brain. Um, anyway, doesn't matter. This guy, the intellectual powerhouse, Ben Shapiro, tweeting about this infographic here from Statista, which is about adults, US adults identifying as LGBT. Um, Share of American adults who identify as LGBT by birth year. So we've got Gen Z, we've got millennials, we've got Generation X, baby boomers, traditionalists. And so apparently 7.2% of US adults identify as LGBT. Now, this is funny because this is an old infographic which I found out, but I'll get to that in a second. So Ben's saying here, don't worry, it's all biology, it's not a social contagion of any sort. That doesn't make any sense what he is saying there. Like none of that makes any sense. Like the social contagion is such a stupid idea. Like they think that people are being like well, this is the thing. They think they're being indoctrinated or being transformed into being trans. It's the same as the gay thing, you know. I mean, 10, 15, 20 years ago, people were thinking that if, you could catch being gay. It's the same thing now with the trans people. It's they think that I mean, the most ridiculous one is the fact that um, if there's a rainbow somewhere, that's somehow going to turn kids trans, which is ridiculous. They think that seeing a trans person, this is the grooming thing. If a kid sees a trans person, then that's going to turn them into a trans person. If they go to a drag show, it's going to turn their kids into trans. If they read a book that's got trans stuff in it, or if it's got positive sex stuff or positive stuff about gay people or whatever, that's going to turn them into trans because it's the ideology and it's the gender and it's the grooming and it's going to turn their kids into a scary trans person. It's absolute nonsense. It makes absolutely no sense. And so that's what Ben's kind of getting at here with the social contagion thing. It's nonsense. But then he says it's all biology. Don't worry, it's all biology. And like, I don't know who's saying that either, because gender isn't about biology. It's anyway. So Ben upset about this graph that now as of 2022, 7.2% of the population identify as LGBT. Couldn't be any other reason. Could only be because it's a social contagion that is indoctrinating all the children into being trans. So a quick Google, first of all, showed me this. I believe this was related to Ari Drennan, who I believe is at Media Matters. I followed them on Twitter before I was banned. Very cool person. Got some really cool ideas. Definitely like how they were annoying the crap out of Michael no less. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, so it talks about this. It gives a parallel example of this this LGBTQ graph thingy where we talk about left-handedness, and so we can see that as time goes on, the rate of left-handedness among Americans has risen and then kind of steadily plateaued out. And the reason for this is not because people were being indoctrinated into left-handedness. It's because the acceptance of left-handed people, people were no longer being punished for being left-handed. It was like a thing that, if you were left-handed, you'd get slapped on the wrist. You'd be forced by your teacher to write right-handedly. As this transactual account here that I found points out, the graph shows significant increase in the left-handedness over the past 100 years because people are no longer punished for being left-handed. The apparent increase in numbers of trans youth, because people know the apparent increase in numbers of trans youth people is because there is more support for trans people to be themselves. So it's just because the stigma is becoming less. People feel more comfortable coming out They don't feel like, that. I mean, there obviously is still a lot of shit going on at the moment in the society. There's a lot of hatred towards Trump. It's I think it's kind of that reactionary backlash thing where things become more accepted, and as they do, the reactionary thing comes and tries to push back on this rise of acceptance. And I think that's kind of where we're at the moment. But so that's kind of what's happening. Anyway, there's more acceptance of trans people. There's less stigma, so people feel more comfortable to come out. That's all it is. There's no social contagion, Ben, you absolute carrot. It would, it could never have anything to do with people being more comfortable coming out, would it? That's simply impossible. You look exactly like someone you would expect to have this opinion, says this guy. The replies are always very interesting. Anyway, so that's the Mr. Shapiro not understanding anything, like the moron that he is. And one more tweet, just because I'm feeling spicy, from my good friend N Wokeness. Now, just let me check and see. I think I need to change the capture device thingy. 1 second. N Wokeness on Twitter. Here we go. Get blocked by N Wokeness. Incognito mode, baby. Okay, so here we go. This is if I was still on Twitter, I would have tweeted this with the caption "End wokeness is upset by colors," because those are the things that got me some pretty viral tweets from this. But anyway, so parents need to stop giving Disney money until they stop pushing this on our kids. So what he's upset about here is, let's see, love. He's upset by love. He's upset by some colors on the Mickey Mouse thing, and some rainbows on the bows there. Okay, so that's there. Mickey and a bunch of different colors, some rainbows. We're upset by rainbows, and then there's Minnie being polka dots and rainbows. So Ian Wokeness is upset by colors. Like I say, talking about this before, they think that for some reason, like if a child owns a rainbow like this, like a rainbow Mickey or a rainbow Minnie or a rainbow backpack, it's gonna turn them trans. Like, how does that work? What is the method by which what is the causal thing that makes the rainbow turn the child trans? What is it? I'm very interested to know, because so far I haven't really. I don't understand how that works. Here he says, someone's responded saying pushing equality ? Which in wokeness says no, pushing sexuality on kids who don't even know how to count. So he's saying that a 3-year-old who can't count yet is having sexuality pushed on them. I mean, they already have cisgender, sorry, not cisgender, heterosexual sexuality pushed on them. Every TV show is heterosexual couples. Advertising, all of this other stuff, everything else in the world. We live in a cis heteronormative society where the norm, the straight and narrow, the well-trodden path that we mostly follow within our society is that of a cisgendered, heterosexual white men. And anything straying from that is deviant. And so kids are brought up, they are indoctrinated into that mindset of a cis heteronormative mindset. And this is just simply showing a deviant. I mean, I used deviant in not a bad and negative connotation way, because I think that deviation from the norm is important and good. And deviation doesn't mean that you are necessarily doing that thing, but that you are experiencing a broader lot of experiences, and experiencing more things gives you more options. It opens you to more things, and you become more tolerant of more things. It's just that's how it goes. I would go into that more, but my brain is not exactly in that place. Anyway, important thing is that a child having a rainbow is not pushing sexuality on them, you massive weirdo. If you think that, you know, that rainbows make people gay, it it just boggles. The more I think about it, the stupider it sounds. Like I would really, really, really love someone to explain to me how this indoctrinates children, how it turns someone gay. How do you get turned gay? How do you get turned into a trans person? I mean, I know that they believe that those things aren't natural. They aren't the normal thing. So you have to choose, or you have to be, uh, you have to be manipulated into being that thing. I know that they believe that, but and therefore, I suppose if that's the case, then you are able to be. But they never explain that. I mean, give me your evidence for why being trans. I mean, Ben seems to think that being trans is a social contagion, so that's the turning them into trans thing. And then the thing that does that is the colors, I suppose. It doesn't make any sense. I would love someone to explain this to me. If you know someone who knows how this works, please feel free to tell me. Feel free to let me know because I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Um, I personally was not turned gay or not turned non-binary. Um, as I grew and was exposed to more um, trans non-binary ideas and people and experiences, I came I came to empathize and understand the experiences that those people were having as experiences that I was also having and did have. So the way that I experienced the world, which I had previously thought was wrong, because it didn't align with the norm, with the normative cis heteronormative way that our society is structured. Um, the incongruence I felt with that felt wrong, and I didn't know anyone else who felt that way, either because I hadn't talked to anyone about it and felt that empathy, or because yeah, or because I hadn't, seen it in a wider sense. When I started interacting with the the LGBTQ community more, I'm going to come back to my thingy here. When I started interacting with the LGBTQ community more, came to understand, ah, came to understand what a bunch of these identities meant, how they felt, and those kinds of things, and heard from other non-binary people about their experiences. I was able to go, that's something I felt that I experienced that. Does that mean that I'm non-binary? I think so. I think that's what it means. And then I was able to explore that path a little more. I was able to go, oh, that explains a lot about what I've been feeling and experiencing in my life, a thing that I didn't have a word for before this. And so I was able to go, oh, that, and I'm not weird, I'm not wrong, because all these other people are experiencing the same thing that I am. So I was able to then put a label to it, put a a label on the thing that yes was deviant from the societal norm, but was not completely out so far out there that other people weren't experiencing. It wasn't just me, and I wasn't wrong. I wasn't broken. I was just conforming to a slightly different path from this main one. And so that's not indoctrination. That like I say, that's a broadening. That's a broadening of his perspective, really. Um, you know, they often talk about how racists and stuff. They've never interacted with a person of a different ethnicity or race, or transphobes have never interacted with, and when I say interacted with, I don't mean like doing a speaking event and someone coming up to the microphone and telling them some stuff and that person being shouted down. I mean sitting down one to one with a person with a with a genuine sense of human connection and compassion and empathy, rather than I'm coming here to prove this person wrong, which is what these motherfuckers do. Anyway, point is that they don't have any of these people in their lives, so they aren't able to experience that differing human perspective. and so they're afraid of it, and that's really where all that bigotry comes from. It's fear. It's ignorance and fear, uh, and that was a lot from that single picture of a rainbow. I love it. I'm gonna keep doing this. I love this. This is really fun. I feel like I'm. There's a bunch of things. I've been reading a lot of queer theory recently. If you couldn't tell by all the fucking queer theory nonsense, which I'm spouting. Um, which is kind of funny because queer theory is one of those things that a lot of the bigots on the right so far are calling. They're like, oh, it's like CRT. It's like critical race theory. We can't have our children indoctrinated by critical race theory. That tells you that it's okay to be friends with black people, or that anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. I'll get into that at another time. But I have been enjoying. Who's this? Peachy something or other. Sorry, I can't pronounce your username, but thanks for tuning in. I'm actually about to cut the stream at this point because I've exhausted my my sources. Sources being the tweets. But say hi to Rosie. I'm in Hastings at the moment, and Rosie says hi. Hey, hello. I know you were sleeping on the bed, on the chair, and I woke you up. I'm sorry, but I wanted you to say hi. Can you say hi? Say hi, and then say bye because I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna turn off the stream. Is it okay? Can I turn it off? You got the hiccups. You got the hiccups. Oh no! Did you eat something too fast? Should we turn off the stream? How do we turn the stream off? Cleaner. Ah, peachy cleaner. Ah, it's tough being a little puppy. Okay, we're gonna say goodbye. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. I'm gonna say goodbye. Stop streaming.